And welcome to the super fun, awesome, happy time pedal show. My name is Gabor.
Oh, they're always different. Hey, welcome along. I'm Alex, and we're going to check out the mini glitch from TKOG.
The king of gear.
That's it. This is a fun, glitchy sample thing.
Yeah.
Noisemaker.
Yeah.
We're going to get into some sounds, but if you could hit like and subscribe on the channel, give us a thumbs up, ding the bell, send us cookies, whatever.
Cookies would be nice. And
Yes.
about 92% of our viewers are not subscribed, so please make sure to subscribe. It does help out.
That'd be cool. So the setup today is, I've got an overdrive 2 distortion from Lawrence Petros Design.
There's a video for the 87 here if you want to watch that on its own.
If we want it and need it. So the pedal's going through a Mozztronics Amp Switcher into a Cherry Tone OTS Mini 20 into a isocab with a greenback, mic with LEWITT MTP440 microphone, and a two notes Torpedo Captor X doing stereo IRs.
And there's a video for the Captor X here, and there's some reverb. I'll turn it off or down at the beginning, just so you can hear it a bit more. But I think it's quite nice to have sort of, and there's also, actually we should mention, there's an analog delay here, the 8150 by Ibanez, an old kind of thing that's in there.
Yeah.
I think it adds to the vibe, adding delay and reverb and some drive.
Fun
maybe.
stuff.
Okay, so the mini glitch. This should also mention right from the start, this is not sponsored by TKOG. I got this, I traded this, I think, in like one of the Facebook Marketplace pedal groups. I traded this for another pedal. I don't remember which one, but I traded this a little while ago. Been meaning to do a video of it for a while, but just didn't have the time to do it. Basically, I think the idea behind it is to get that kind of Johnny Greenwood Radiohead glitchy sound.
Yeah.
You have, in terms of knobs and switches, you have this one knob, which is the sample size, which if you've got to almost think of it like the time knob on a delay pedal. So as you turn it down, the samples it takes, because basically what a glitch pedal does is you play something, it takes a little sample and it plays it back randomly. The lower you go, the smaller the sample is. The higher you go, the bigger the size of the sample is. It's all in the name of the knob, really. If you go all the way down, it goes to random. Now, random, it just means it randomly does stuff, right? That's that. That also has, as you hold this button down, this has secondary functions depending on what mode you're in. So you've got 3 modes. You've got SW, you've got threshold, and random. It's random, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's random. So SW is switch. So basically, it's a momentary switch. As you push it, it will play back a certain whatever it recorded at the time, right? Threshold is a mode where you turn it on. It's like a latching switch, and if you play, if you go, it's like an envelope filter. The harder you hit it, if you go above a certain threshold, which you can set with this by holding down that button. That's a secondary function of this. You hold down the switch and turn that. You set the threshold, and so you hit something, you play softly, nothing happens. You play something a bit harder, it starts glitching, and it will keep that glitch until you play something above that threshold again. But you can play quietly over it. And then you have random mode. Basically, you set that, you turn it on, and then it randomly, you can sort of see, starts glitching. And you set the sample size, how big you want the samples to be, but it randomly brings those samples in, and then you go to random in that, and then it randomly changes the sample size as well.
Double random.
Double random. And then the only other thing you have is this dry mute and dry pass. So dry pass, it means as it glitches, it still lets the dry signal through. Yep. If you go to dry mute, as it glitches, it turns the dry signal off. So let's get into it.
Sounds good.
Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
Yeah, you want to play some...
Okay, so if we turn this off, this is the clean sound. So let's start off, let's go dry pass. And let's start off in random mode, right? Just so we can sort of roughly hear what it does. So if I put this not all the way down to random, but if I put it a little bit above random and I turn it on now, what will happen is it'll be really short, like kind of sounds, because it's very, very little samples that it takes, and they'll randomly come in. So as you turn it up, the length of those little samples becomes longer.
Yeah, the size gets bigger.
The size gets bigger as the sample size. Yes, exactly right. And if you go to random, it just randomly does it.
Okay.
So that's the difference between dry mute and dry pass. It gets really stuttery, glitchy when you set the dry mute. Dry pass, you get a little bit of... You still hear what you're playing, you just get that on top of what you're playing. So let's set it to... Cool. It says for the most Johnny Greenwood sound, set it to random, set it to dry mute, and set it to random here as well. Okay. So this is be Johnny Greenwood. Go.
Hello, my name is Jonathan.
Yes.
Now we've both decided the dry mute's a bit weird.
Well, if it's a particular thing, right? If it's a certain sound you have to be after, and
it's very bold, isn't it?
It's a big statement. So if you go to dry pass and do the same thing, so this is everything is the same. Okay. So put a little bit of very short delay and a little bit of reverb on as well. It's cool. I really like it.
I think I went into the future.
Yeah. So that's basically the random mode, right?
Yeah.
Then if we go to threshold mode, so threshold mode now, if we turn it on and if you play quietly, like lightly, nothing happens. If you start hitting it harder, it'll now all of a sudden take this sample and it'll just infinitely play it. Turn it off. So again, so that the sample size, it just sets how big or how small the samples is that it takes. Now, what you can do with this is with the threshold, if you hold that down, the secondary function of this, if you hold this down, it will change the threshold. So how hard you have to hit it for it to happen. So for example, if we're going, turn it right down. You have to hit it really hard.
But that's kind of cool for if you have synths or electric bass.
Yeah, it depends on what kind of output you have. So yeah. Or if
yeah.
you, modular. I mean, ridiculous amount of output. So you can set the threshold to different sort of things.
True.
If you wanted to, you can set the threshold. I'll go up a bit. Threshold down a bit just for something different. I think what would be really cool is if you, for that mode, if you had an expression pedal, so you could do that.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. Actually, hang on. Does that, if you go all the way down, is it random that size as well? Like what size it is? And so on and so on. It's pretty cool. Okay, last mode is the switch mode. So basically, you can actually kind of sample yourself. So it's a little bit like something like the Mood, for example, or like what the 16-second looper used to be, the electro-harmonics thing. It always records.
Yeah.
So if we go to like this is the biggest sample size, right? So if you start playing and randomly hit it, it shows you how long the actual sample size is.
Okay.
So, hang on, play now. So it's not very long. It's a short sample, and that's the longest. So if you turn that down, it gets to that kind of really robotic sounding stuff again. So. And it's a latching switch, so you've got to hold it in.
Yeah.
Not latching, it's a momentary switch. It's a non-latching switch. So you control it by pushing the button.
Fun.
Yeah. And what's the secondary function on that? And we didn't mention what the secondary function is on the first thing as well. On the random. Hang on. Let's go into secondary functions. Let's just go into secondary functions.
Brace yourself.
It controls the maximum possible sample size on the random setting. Ah, okay. When you go down to the random setting, it controls the maximum size.
Right. So
you can set, because with this as well, if you go all the way down to random, it randomly changes. It's a random size thing. So you play. So it randomly picks and you can set what the maximum size is. And then, okay, secondary function, we mentioned it before in threshold mode, is how hard you got to hit it.
Yep.
So, I mean, okay, well, if you, we kind of looked at that. And then if we go into the first to random mode, it's how... it's at what speed the random numbers are generated. So, in random mode, if you turn it on, right... Before, when I turned it all the way up, it basically stayed on all the time.
Yeah.
Because as you turn it up, it does it constantly. Whereas as you turn it down, the randomness has more gaps in between it, basically.
Yes, gotcha. Yeah, cool.
But I mean, that's basically it.
It's fun, eh?
It's a fun pedal. It's an interesting pedal, and I mean, you can do. There's even like in the manual, it talks about the Johnny Greenwood setting, but then it also talks about for a broken CD player sounds, which I just like that sort of stuff. For broken CD sounds, based on the notes you most emphasize, set the mode toggle to the center, the dry toggle to the left, and the sample knob size to the desired loop length. Depress the foot switch and begin recording, and play strong each time you want a new glitch to begin. Set the dry gate toggle to the right to layer your playing when glitching. So this is one of those, this is broken CD player. You've got to hit softly to play over it, you know, it's a threshold, it's the envelope thing.
Yeah.
And so on and so on. So it's an interesting pedal. It does a lot of quirky things.
Yeah, particularly when you add some ambience and delays and reverb.
I think having like
pretty cool.
I like that sort of really short delay anyway. But as soon as you put like that. Like that sort of short delay that's almost glitchy in its own, and it's quite long, and then you add some reverb too, and then set it. Maybe you have the drive through, but set it on the random setting, and then just play some funny chords. I don't know, like. Let's go dry mute.
pretty much a tube screamer, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, it definitely makes you play differently, and it's very different. I think I'll do a video of it at some stage. I want this and the Meris Autobit. I haven't done that yet. That's been something like 2 glitchy pedals.
Yeah.
Double glitch. Glitch and the glitch.
Might go into the future.
Yeah. Or the past. Or the parallel man. Anyway.
So if you want to see us go into the future past, hit like and subscribe on the channel.
Please do. And let us know if there's anything else. Do you want us to do anything else with that? Pair it up with something or other than the Autobit? I think the Autobit and that would be cool.
Yeah, it'd be
wild.
wild.
You can lo-fi stuff and glitchy and all the filter stuff that it does. So there'll be a video for that. Stay tuned for that. Yeah, and I think that's about it.
Yeah, links below to Instagram, Facebook, and a podcast. We chat about this kind of thing. And thanks for hanging. Comments, questions below. We'll see you soon. Okay, Joe.